Purchase your tracks today.
Welcome to Call Your Shot, the last episode before playoffs, and we got some big matchups for you. For those that don't know the show, this is how it's going to work. Round robin tournament style. Obviously, we're in the last episode before playoffs, but we have 8 guys. We have had 4 guys each week. They come up with 5 picks each. Whoever has a better record will get the win. Everybody will play everybody, and at the end of round robin, top 4 will make playoffs. They can make a spread pick, money line pick, prop pick, totals pick for any sport, anything that they will think that will make you money, they can pick. But there's only one rule: the value of the pick must be greater than minus 145 in U.S. odds, 169 in Canadian odds or decimal, and 20 out of 29 for the fraction in UK people there. So before we get going, let's introduce who is going up in these big matchups. He's one of our gambling experts at BCMG, took over last place, looking to bounce back and come all the way back to make playoffs. I'm sure he will mention a gambling model of some sort tonight. You can follow him at Source Podcast 11. Joel Goddard, how's it going, Joel?
It's going well. You know, you already mentioned it. We came roaring back already to win 2 straight weeks. We're going for number 3 tonight. We're going to take out Doc E PhD over there down in Texas, and then we're going to take home the championship. We're doing it for Davis.
Baby steps. And like you said, you're going up against Ernest, looking to end the hopes and dreams of the Source Podcast, coming in with an excellent 17-13 record. Might even see some spring college football picks. I do not know. You can follow him at Into the Lab Pod. Ernest Silva, how's it going, Ernest?
It's going great. Yeah, that's wishful thinking, Joe. But hey, some people have to dream.
Dream big.
And you know, hopefully you're coming from the Add Into Lab live feed. Yesterday we got to see Josh and Job on there and Paul on there. So kind of excited to see you guys. But no college spring football picks, unfortunately. We're gonna leave those alone. So have some fun tonight, guys.
All right, and over to our next matchup, another guy that was at the bottom and now has played himself right into a playoff spot. He's our MMA expert. You can follow him at Andrew Kahn. Andrew Kahn, how's it going, bud?
Oh, you know, just another luxurious car sales day, boys. No, I'm looking forward to this one, guys. I, right now, out of all of us, have the winningest record, so I need to keep that consistent before I get eliminated here.
I don't even know if that's 100% true.
14 and 16 would give me the best record here, would it not? Out of the 4 of us?
No, I'm pretty sure Ernest has the better record at.
Does he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll take a look at the
17
standings.
and 13.
Okay, all right, Ernie, I see you.
Yeah, we will take a look at the standings and picks here in a second, but you're going up against, he's one of my favorite Yinzers. Probably got some puck here for you tonight, looking to hold on tight to his playoff spot. You can follow him at Steel Curtain PEH. Paul Hardo, how's it going, Paul?
Well, I mean, we'll see the standings here in a minute, but you know what I mean? Like, keep in mind that I have an 0-5 in there with that. So when you factor that in, you can just realize who is the most impressive picker on this show.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, and you actually, I think, and even your second week, did you go 0-5 or it was like 1-4 even after that?
I went 0-5 and then I went 1-4.
1-4, right. Well, I mean, before we get going, let's do a couple housekeeping things here. Let's take a look at those standings for you. Kenny, obviously, with the President's Trophy, he's taking over the number 1 spot and has moved into or has solidified a playoff spot for himself. Ernest, Paul, and Andrew all sitting at 3-3. And yeah, Andrew, it's actually Ernest with the better record.
I'll give Uncle Ernie that.
And then Paul at 16-14, and then yourself. But I mean, you know, wishful thinking. Luke still in the hunt, depending on what happens this week. How many guys get some correct picks? He never know. He might be able to sneak into that last spot. And then, of course, at the end there, it's kind of covered. But we got Dylan that was eliminated, as well as Jet. They had also great seasons. We'll hopefully see them again. Another thing I just want to mention, I just want to shout out real quick, one of our major sponsors at Player Athletics. They've been so great to us, so great this season. Hoping to continue that on into next season. I'm very excited for it. And just to announce, they are actually donating a hat as well as a club head cover to the winner of Call Your Shot. So we got lots on the line here, guys. We got a hat, a club head cover,
I need one of those.
and not only that, but BCMG is also kicking in a $25 gift card for Player Athletics as well. So lots, like I said, lots on the line. So quick before we go, quick disclaimer. We are making these picks for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes Monday. Games picked tonight could potentially have a line change or a value change. Miami Heat might be favored by 4.5 today. Tomorrow, it could be 5.5, 6.5, and so on. So bet with us now. Grab a drink, grab a friend, grab your girlfriend, your grandma. I don't care. Let's make some money and let's have some fun. So I'm going to go to Source. Source, what are you running with for your first pick?
So we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna stick with baseball for all 5 of these picks. This is tomorrow's game. We're gonna take the New York Yankees minus 130 money line versus the Tampa Bay Rays. As a Red Sox fan, I hate it. As a bettor, you have to bet on the Yankees. They're simply the better team by a mile. And they should be a minus 145 or minus 150. At minus 130, we're having extreme value here.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Rays have actually got off to a really slow start as well. They haven't really performing up to what I thought they were. Lost a couple of games against the Red Sox. Yarbrough hasn't really looked as sharp as I thought he would. And the Yanks, I mean, obviously, the Yanks are the Yanks. They're gonna hit 3-4 home runs probably. But their lack of contact hitting, does that worry you at all a little bit?
So it would if they were going up against anybody but Rich Hill. They're going up against Rich Hill, who, in his career is not great, but specifically this season has not been good. He's got a 9 ERA in his first start. And a lefty at Yankee Stadium is always a little bit dangerous because you have that short right field porch. And the Yankees really do tend to mash out there. Now, one thing to keep an eye on is Aaron Judge looks like he's going to be out for the first game of the series, which would be this game. And maybe going forward. So we're only going to take the Yankees for the first game, not the series price, which was actually minus 125, and I considered it. The reason for that is you don't know what Aaron Judge is going to look like. But we're backing a Corey Kluber here coming off of, his rash of injuries. So we'll see what happens.
And a pretty decent start to start off his season. I do like that pick for sure. Let's go over Ernest. Ernest, what are you rolling with for your first pick?
I decided to really dig in deep for my soccer analysis here. We're gonna go Bayern Munich minus 1.5 versus FC Union Berlin. I'm not sure if you could even hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
That sound you're hearing? That's
okay.
That's me thinking this pick through.
Okay, so you're going with Bayern Munich minus 1.5 against FC Berlin. Now, I've talked to a couple soccer experts. I've talked to a couple experts here, and I've been told that line is very, very low. This should be a lot higher. So the minus 1.5, you think you're pretty confident in it?
Yeah, by far. That's one of my most confident picks. I'm starting off with it.
I love it. Perfect. Right on.
Definitely.
All right, let's go to our next matchup. Andrew, what are you running with for your first pick?
Usually, you know me, I got to go to the well of my knowledge. That's where I'm at. Bellator 256 taking place. I'm looking forward to it. The Grand Prix taking place as well. There's been a lot of great fights that have been happening lately. But I'm going to go with Surrey, BC's own Jeremy Kennedy. I'm looking for the win here. Left the UFC on a winning streak, goes over to Bellator, wins his debut there. He's taking on, of course, as you see at the bottom of your screen, Adam Borix, who is coming off a loss in Bellator. And I got to go with the Canadian. I mean, how do I not with minus 135? That's who I'm rolling with, and that's the fight to kick off the card tomorrow.
Yeah, I know nothing about the Bellator, or is it called the Bellator, or is it just Bellator?
They have Bellator, they have Bellator kickboxing, they have Bellator MMA. This is under the MMA
really?
banner. So
Okay, so Jeremy Canadian.
Yep.
What do you think how is this fight going to roll? Is it going to end up, is he a knockout machine or is he a submission guy? How do you think this will end up?
Actually, Kennedy's a decision machine. So we'll see what happens here, man. So in his last 4 of his fucking last 6 fights, they've all gone to a decision victory. So we'll see what happens here. He also has quite a few knockouts on the resume. So if I'm going to bet, I think I was looking at some lines today. I think it's like plus 250 that he knocks him out in the first round. So if you want to make some money, go follow that.
So more of a strategy kind of fighter. I don't hate those. Can be boring to watch, can be boring to bet on, but I mean,
win's a win, right?
A win is a win. Absolutely. All right, let's go to Paul. Paul, what are you running with for your first pick?
I mean, I usually stick to hockey, but baseball's back in. I've been pretty hot in our daily picks with baseball, so I'm going to start off there. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Reds, minus 120 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. I just like the way the Reds are playing right now. They're playing with swag. Castellanos is just out there getting in people's faces. I mean, it's really changed how they play baseball.
On, guys.
I love it. I love it because, I am a baseball guy and I like the unwritten rules. But when they backfire, then that guy definitely has the right to do whatever he wants. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hit him. Now he scored. It is what it is. So I love it. I love the way the Reds are playing right now. They're knocking the cover off the baseball. Arizona definitely is not. I mean, they might be one of the worst teams in the National League, maybe Major League Baseball this year. Just by the way they're playing. Some of their numbers are a little bit skewed because they started out in Coors, but they're in the bottom third of all the pitching stats. So I like the Reds to stay hot here and get this first win. Yeah,
Castellanos, one of the probably worst suspensions I've ever seen. Did not deserve to be suspended for that. Pretty wild. But anyway, that's the story for another time. But yeah, pretty wild. The Reds have been just, like you said, tearing the cover off the ball. That being said, they did play Pittsburgh, your hometown team.
Yeah.
Do you think this might be a little bit of a different game against the Arizona Diamondbacks?
I mean, the Pirates are terrible. I'm not going to lie about that. But let's not act like Arizona is going to be in the upper echelon of the league. I mean, they're going to be a bottom third dwelling team all year. They're going to be out of that division by, let's say, Labor Day. I mean, they're going to be completely out of it by, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be.
No, they'll be out of it by June 1st.
Yeah, I was just trying to be. I was going to say July 4th, but I was just trying to be nice about it. But you know what I mean? Like, let's not act like Arizona's like some huge cut above the Pirates, honestly.
Labor Day to July 1st, kind of a big stretch there, but yeah.
I was just trying to be nice, you know what I mean?
No, I definitely agree with you. Kind of a very slow start to them. I mean, it is a small sample size, but just know you just don't see any life in that team right now, which is a shame because I always like the Diamondbacks and you like to see them do well. But it is what it is. That's baseball. So, all right, let's go to our next round. Next round is going to be Source. Lead us off for the second round here.
So I'm going with a major upset pick here. I'm going to take the Washington Nationals to beat the LA Dodgers at plus 225 tomorrow. Ross is on the hill, who has a career 4.4 ERA, and in the last season and a half has been pitching to a 5.6. So I think there's incredible value there. Buehler's on the other side of this, which is why that value is so high. Walker Buehler is a favorite for the Cy Young Award in the National League this year. But if there's anybody that can hit him, it's Juan Soto's Washington Nationals. So I think Juan Soto's now the most electric player in the game, especially without Francisco Tatis Jr. Currently playing. Now that he's hurt with the shoulder injuries, shoulder subluxation, Juan Soto is the guy in the National League. He's only 22 years old, and yet he's going to carry this team very deep into the playoffs, I think. And the compete factor is always there with the Nationals. So I would expect, with a rested bullpen after Scherzer went yesterday and the day off today, that they are going to put together one a hell of a run these upcoming weeks to try to get back into, separate themselves from the competition. They're going to start tomorrow with a statement win against the Dodgers.
Yeah. What about? I just want to ask real quick about. So Washington obviously had their season postponed due to COVID. What is that? Is that going to play a factor possibly into this game? Because obviously there's always these teams that kind of get off to slow starts, and really, they lose 2-3 games right off the hop, but then they start battling back. Is this going to be maybe a little bit of a worry for the Nats?
I would be worried a little bit, but they've already shown such compete over the first 3 games that they played. They beat the Braves twice, who I understand are in tough shape, or no, they lost to the Braves twice, who I understand are similar competition levels. But Max Scherzer came out and really lit a fire under his team. Yesterday, he gave a challenge to the fans at Nationals Park to make 5,000 sound like 15,000, and tell them that it felt both good to be back in the stadium, but he doesn't understand why there's no energy. So I expect this team to come out tomorrow with some serious energy, some serious compete factor, and try to put some swings on Walker Buehler early.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it at all. But I mean, betting against Dodgers can be
it's tough. It's not going to be profitable long term if you don't pick your spots.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they are going to lose games.
25 is a big it's a big value pick here. I'm swinging for the home run, but I'm very confident in this pick. Right. I managed to pick them, in the one loss that they've had so far against the A's. I picked the A's at plus 170, and that was successful. So we're going to ride with that anti-Dodgers wave.
Just before or during that little intro for the Washington Nationals, we had Kenneth Cottrell chime in, and everybody here battling for second place. And yes, Kenny, that is correct. Everybody here is 3-3, and it's pretty simple. Win and you're in, and you get second or you get third. So.
What a humble guy, hey! Just a humble
Hey, you know
guy.
what?
Wild.
Can I address him real quick?
Yeah, let's air it out.
So, Kenny, it all starts over in the playoffs. Okay, the regular season means nothing. So whoever wins these 2 matchups is coming for you.
Yeah,
we coming. We gunning.
My money's on whoever wins these 2 matchups to beat you. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm setting the odds at the field minus 150.
Take the field, eh?
Yeah. Give them the minus 150. I like that.
All right, let's go to Ernest here. Ernest, what are you running with for your second pick?
Do you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quack. 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 The Ducks don't not cover on Fridays when the new episode comes out on Disney Plus. I mean, the Ducks are going to cover the spread, so that you're going to ride the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow. So go put your money on them. It's fantastic betting line, and I just want to say, Kenny, you may have the best overall record, but I am gunning for that win-loss. I have a shot to take over this whole season.
That is a very good point. You are actually 1 win away from his picking record. Very interesting strategy here. Mighty Ducks, the show, obviously on Disney Plus, is dropping. Hence why Ernest is taking the Ducks to cover the puck line at plus 105 or plus 1.5. Sorry. And yeah, I mean, I think the Ducks are at home, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're right.
I thought so. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You got the Mighty Ducks dropping on Disney Plus Friday. That's all you need. That's all. That's enough information you need to make that bet, right? Am I right?
That's it. And if you don't like that information, then don't bother. And that's a reference to the show if you guys are watching it.
It's a bad show.
Hey, I haven't got into it yet. No spoiler alerts. No spoilers because I'm going to be watching. So, all right. Well, let's move over to Andrew for his second pick.
Yeah, you betcha. I'm going really off the board with this one, but hey, I have been watching this religiously since I was 8 years old. It is WrestleMania week, and I could not go with some Edge, little Canadian content, winning the WWE title in a triple threat match, plus 115. I love it. And the reason why I love this is because this is 10 years in the making. If you don't know the story behind this triple threat match, it's actually pretty incredible. All things aside, we know wrestling is the most scripted thing of all time.
Wait a second.
I was going to say, somebody who works at WWE?
Yeah, I wish I did, but I don't actually. But if I did, I would text some homies. It's just a feel-good story. The only reason why Edge did suffer a broken neck. I think we need a
vote on this one.
Yeah, Edge broke his neck 10 years ago. Was told he'll never wrestle again. So his comeback story has been actually pretty incredible. And that is outside of the ring. He's had to get neck surgeries. It's been pretty well documented. Then you look at Daniel Bryan, same thing. Concussions absolutely railroaded his career. He was forced to retire early and then was medically cleared to come back after 6 years away from the ring. Roman Reigns, as we all know as well, is the WWE champion right now, but he himself beat cancer. He had to step away and was actually forced out of his championship with a leukemia run. So this is like a redemption triple threat story, but give me Edge, the winner of the Royal Rumble, 115. Usually the guys who win the Royal Rumble, they don't lose too much. So I'm going with Edge 115 to win the WWE title.
This is a Royal Rumble?
No, this is WrestleMania, baby. This is the biggest weekend in WWE.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I have a feeling that Andrew knows somebody who works in WWE.
Don't know anything.
He's got the inside. You got to read the script.
Listen. If you know and you watch wrestling,
I think somebody sent him the script.
That's what I'm saying.
I wish I had
on the inside.
I wish I had some guys on the inside, but I'm telling you, like, it doesn't just happen that he comes back after 10 years, wins the Royal Rumble. He was forced to retire and not lose his title, so he actually has never lost the WWE title. He's going to shot to get it back. I'm a nerd. I'm about WrestleMania weekend. Let's have some fucking fun. It was 115. Why not?
All right, so just to clarify here, this is a triple threat match against Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I just had to verify that these were legit odds, and they are. If you go to Bodog in Canada or Bovada, there are odds for this match. Edge at plus 130 now, Roman Reigns at plus 170, and Daniel Bryan at plus 185. However, I will have to take it to my co-commissioner / producer, Kenneth Cotterill, to see if we can accept this. Because, it is. I'm not saying it's fake.
How are we not?
I think we should vote on it, but I'll tell you what. Andrew, if you send me a DM right now and you tell me that you have the script, then I'm gonna just put my house on it, and I'll vote for you. You can put it up on the show.
Shout out to my boy Chris Van Fleet, because that'd be the only way that I know who would win this match. But not even he knows who wins this match, and he's one of the biggest WWE guys in the world. So I tried to get some in-source. I couldn't get any. He wouldn't tell me. So
don't lock that in yet, because I will not be locking that in yet. I gotta go back and take a look and see if we can accept that. But anyway, if there is gonna be a change, you'll see it on Twitter.
Josh, you know what that sounds like?
What does that sound like?
Sounds like a BCMG guaranteed pick of the week. Andrew with the WWE pick of the week.
We will see, though. We will see. Let's go over to Paul for his second pick. What are you running with, Paul?
Now I'm going to get back to the ice here, and you're going to see a theme through.
WWE picks or what?
No, I'm good.
Make fun of me all you want. It's the biggest week in the world.
I haven't watched wrestling since I started fucking girls, so.
What he just said is that he still watches wrestling every Friday night.
What is that with you? Oh, just kidding.
But anyway, I'm gonna get back to the ice. You're gonna see a theme through these the rest of my picks here. So we're gonna start out with the Battle of New York, and the Islanders made a huge move, getting Kyle Palmieri from the Devils. I already like the way the Islanders play, but the Rangers, they have been playing better of late. But I took the Pens against them tonight, and I think the Islanders are just a better team than them. Give me the 130 and the Islanders to get this dub.
Yeah, Rangers have been playing pretty well as of late. But I think the Islanders are at home.
Yeah.
If I'm not correct. And the Islanders, I think, have lost one game at home, so pretty tough to bet against them when they are at home. And the Rangers are still the Rangers, but they have been playing pretty well. I don't hate that pick. I do have the Islanders tonight, and I think they were they're tied now, but that's okay.
They're tied.
All right. No, I do like that pick, Paul. Let's go to the third round now. What are you running with, Joe?
Well, this is a pretty basic pick here. This is an absolute fade of the Detroit Tigers and that whole organization. Right now, they do have Badabu, who's the young rookie who's absolutely lighting the world on fire in Detroit. So there's some excitement around that team. He had a walk-off single He had a home run on his first ever pitch in Major League Baseball. Then a walk-off single. The next day, he hit a triple. The kid's on absolute fire. But outside of him and Miguel Cabrera, no one else on that team can produce offense on a good day. And they're going up against Plesac and the Cleveland Indians, who, if anybody watches Major League Baseball year in and year out, they know the Cleveland Indians produce two things. One is fantastic pitchers, and two is they produce offense in key spots. So I expect them to win this game, maybe a 5-2, 6-1 game, and I don't think it'll be close. So definitely take them to cover the 1.5 plus 114 is currently the odds.
Who's the pitcher that's going for Detroit? Tyrion?
Yep, Tyrion.
He got off to a pretty decent start this year.
He did, and he's a good career ERA guy. He's usually pretty good, but I'm expecting, even though I don't think Cleveland's bats are all that good, I think they can catch up to Tehran, and especially the bullpen for Detroit, who I do not think is any good at all. They don't have any arms out there that I think deserve to be big league arms in big moments.
Right.
This Detroit team is going to finish at the bottom of the division, and they're hunting for a pick in the top 5 of next year's draft, alongside Paul's Pittsburgh Pirates, the Arizona teams, and then the one other team that everyone has to keep an eye on to continue to fade is going to be the Chicago Cubs. I think that everyone is currently high on them. They came in with a little bit of punch. Kyle Hendricks is great, but you should keep an eye on fading the Cubs. That's going to be profitable all year long.
How do you feel about Davis being one of the biggest Cubs fans on the planet, and you just went against his Cubs?
Well, that's why I didn't pick an anti-Cubs game for this, because this is still Davis's run. He started us out 0-3, and we needed to pull him back here. But the Cubs are going to be profitable to bet on all season. Bet against all season. In fact, 2-1 against them so far.
Yeah. We had a bad bet that went today, me and you, Joe, but you know what? It is what it is.
Indeed.
You move on. All right, let's go to our next matchup here. Andrew, what are you running with for your third pick?
Do we have to do Ernest's pick here?
Oh, sorry.
Probably.
My bad. That's
Yeah.
on me. That's on me.
Yeah,
Ernest.
probably.
I apologize. What are you running with for your third pick?
My first two picks were that bad that we had to skip over my third pick.
Yeah.
But
That's on
let's
me.
just. Do you guys hear that?
Yep. Oh,
You
another
guys hear that?
trash can?
That's right.
Trash
That's the
can.
trash. That's the trash can banging. That's the trash can banging next door. The Astros, book it, are going to win at least by 3 tomorrow. It's a Friday night game. You have McCullers on the mound. That man is all hyped. $85 million reasons why you're going to go McCullers to win that game tomorrow and pitch a shutout against the Oakland A's. If there's one team that the Astros play fantastic against, it's the Oakland A's. If you haven't seen the series already, it's like 50 million to 1 or something when it comes to runs in these games, and they're winning 2-0 tonight. So going Astros to cover, let's say I think I chose 1.5 for a plus 118. Then you can book that, take that to the bank. That's my first real pick. The other two are some fun ones. I just need 2 wins this week, guys.
That is true. Yeah, the record does mean a lot when you're tied for second place. Do like the pick. Astros -1.5 the run line. Oakland A's have got off to a horrible start. They do not look good. I do like that. We'll talk actually a little bit about that later on. Let's go over to Andrew. Sorry, Ernest. I apologize. I skipped over you. Let's go back to Andrew.
It's okay.
Andrew, what are you running with for your third pick?
Okay, so I went back from being absolutely embarrassed on this live feed. Wow, I don't like girls. Are you kidding me, Paul?
You're the one that made that assumption. I just said that I've never watched.
You're just afraid to take. You're afraid to take this L this week, and that's okay. I'm not embarrassed by it. But here we go. My third pick is going back to UFC. We got UFC Fight Night taking place this weekend. Vittori versus Holland. Mackenzie Dern versus Nina Ansaroff. If you don't know who Nina Ansaroff is, that is actually Nina Nunes. That's Amanda Nunes' wife. So I'm looking forward to this fight. Mackenzie Dern coming in as the underdog, which really surprises me because she's 5-1 in the UFC. Coming on a 3-fight win streak right now at 110 seems a little fishy to me. I know that Nina, of course, is Amanda Nunes' partner. I totally understand that. And Amanda Nunes is the GOAT of women's MMA. But Nina's actually coming off a loss. So this is big title implications when it comes to that division, because as we all know, I don't think Nina's going to fight her wife for the title. So I think it gives Mackenzie Dern a little bit more motivation to lay down the beats and get that title shot going. And 4 straight wins would probably do that for her.
Pretty interesting little tidbit there for you. Nina Andersoff, obviously the partner of Amanda Nunes. Now, like, they've obviously been training together. Does that not worry you a little bit?
It does, but it doesn't. It should state, though, too, she just had a baby in March. So this, like, I mean, it's like the last year, of course, in March. So, I mean, she's had some time away.
You're talking a full year.
I'm talking a full year. So she's been away from the octagon for a full year.
Shit, was that a kid in March?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Josh was like,
not a kid.
Way back in the octagon. Wow.
No,
From the hospital room to the octagon.
Yeah, she lost all of her weight by just having a baby. You know, didn't have to cut. No,
cut.
This will be yeah, she did get this is going to be a big fight for Nina, and like I said, it's going to be really interesting because if Nina does pull this off, then that would probably set her up for a title fight against her wife, which would be a divided household. So, I mean, I know
how do you even bet on that one? Like,
I wouldn't even know. Well, Amanda for sure, because Amanda's the best to ever do it. But I mean,
does she want to punch her wife? Like, doesn't she want?
Yeah, I would be like, I don't want to hit you, so. Yeah, but like, yeah, give me Mackenzie Dern in this. Like I said, riding a 3-fight win streak. I think this is pretty easy money at 110 as the underdog, which blows my mind. Take it.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Some plus money out there for you, Mackenzie Dern. I like that pick as well. Although Nina's partner is one of the greatest, the greatest of all time. That might worry me a little bit, but I mean, hey, you know what? Some plus money out there. You never know what happens in some of those
units.
Exactly. So let's go over to Paul for his third pick. What are you running with, Paul?
I'm gonna go with the Capitals in regulation -140 against the Sabres. I mean, I'll fade the Sabres the rest of the year. I don't care.
So bad.
Especially when I can get.
That's a profitable line right there.
Yeah. I mean, especially when I can get them minus, less than $1.50. I'm definitely going to take it every single time. I don't really know what Buffalo's doing up there, and Washington needs points. All these teams out here in this division need to take care of Buffalo and New Jersey. So the Capitals better get this one. I have not been running good in regulation. That's been most of my losses lately. Has been the regulation, but I think the Caps handle business here.
Yeah, especially in regulation against one of the shittiest NHL teams ever to play the game. I would say this has just been an awful season for them. And right now they're holding out Taylor Hall too. So
yeah,
in anticipation for a trade. So yeah, I mean, regulation, that's a pretty generous line. I think that -140. I would hop on that right away as soon as you can, because that will change. I think
Capitals are one of the better teams in the league right now too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I mean, when you got one of the best shooting forwards in the league, like, it just 140 is a low line. So hammer that right now. I mean,
I'm telling you too, what I've been noticing a lot lately too is there's big disparities between some of these teams, and Vegas is trying to pull the rope-a-dope on a lot of this stuff, putting out these fishy lines and, making you think something else. Just you've seen these teams all year. Bet, you know what I mean? Take the better team.
Yeah.
Like, don't play that line movement shit and all that. Like,
yeah. No, I 100% take the better team. Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the end of the third round, and will take us to the player pick of the week. When shopping online, www.playergolf.com. Make sure to use promo code BetTheOver for 20% off. I'm wearing the hat. Don't think anybody else is wearing any player gear here, but I'm wearing the hat. I just ordered a bunch of stuff off online from them today. It's coming in the mail hopefully next week. They just dropped a big spring line. It looks awesome. Make sure to check them out, and as well follow them on Twitter @PlayerAthletics. As well. Great follow, great company, great group of guys, like I said. So the player pick this week is going to be Houston Astros money line -140 against Oakland. We talked about them just recently. Oakland's a dumpster fire. They're horrible this year. The Houston Astros, I mean, are a pretty good team. Some would think that they didn't have the trash cans, they would be pretty bad, but they are. They still, and I mean, they probably still do have the trash cans, but they're a great team. This line is low at minus 140. I think this should be a little bit bigger. I'm on just about. I have this this pick on just a bit outside. I'm laying 2 units on it. I think it's a guarantee. I'm calling it a lock. They will not lose this game to Oakland. I don't toss that around very often because a lock sometimes are non-existent. Take Houston minus 140 here. Don't see them losing to Oakland at all. That dumpster fire that they got going on there. So, all right. So that brings us to the 4th round now. What are you running with, Joe, for your 4th pick?
I'm going to run with the Atlanta Braves at minus 125 at home against Philadelphia. This is a pick that a lot of people are going to question because of how they started out the season against one another, where Philadelphia absolutely dominated them. But the Braves are too good to lose 3 straight games to a team and not bounce back. They showed a little bit more fight against the Nationals this past weekend, and I would expect them to come out firing. I almost took the over here, but the pitching is just too good. We're expecting Zach Wheeler to be pitching against Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton pitching against Philly is always tough. That lefty on lefty action for Bryce Harper and the big bats in that order is going to make that one a difficult run scoring opportunity for Philly. And Charlie Morton doesn't walk guys, so you shorten the game. There's some good bullpen arms for the Braves, and they're well rested. So give me the Braves minus 125.
Yeah, I do like that as well, Joe. This could end up being – I don't like Philly's bullpen. I don't think it's as good as Atlanta. I could definitely see Atlanta taking this. And it probably will be a close game. I mean, hopefully. And if it does get to that point where it is bullpen versus bullpen, Atlanta is just going to come Atlanta's going to be the better team.
I think so too. I think the only thing that worries me a little bit is Charlie Morton's pitch count early in the season can sometimes be low. They might pull him after 4.5, 4 2/3 or 5 innings just to make sure that they have him for the full season, which would concern me a little bit. But Atlanta is well rested. They didn't have to use too many arms against the Nationals this weekend. And I also expect this to be a high-scoring matchup. I know Zach Wheeler's on the hill. I know he's great. And he dominated Atlanta last time through the order when they met last week. But I do think the one thing that we've seen so far with these 2 series, with 1 series in between, we saw it today with the Red Sox, for example. Offenses in this league are too good to get shut down by pitchers, twice in a row. And so I think Atlanta really is going to come out here and capitalize now that they have some film on Wheeler this year.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Quick shout out to Dale Sorensen. How you all doing tonight? We're doing excellent. How you doing, Dale? You making some picks? I hope you are, because we're going to win some money this weekend. All right, let's go over to Ernest for his 4th pick of the night. What are you going with, Ernest?
Yep. So just as much as one team needs the win, the other team needs the loss. So I'm going with the Boston Celtics minus 8.5 or their opening line spread if it is larger. So I want to make sure we capitalize on that. I think the Boston Celtics.
Before you get going, Ernest, I did take a look in the opening line. Opening line was 8.5 to start out. So that might jump, but are you just going to take whatever the line is?
Yeah, I'll take 8.5 since that's what it's at. I'll just take 8.5. I do want to say why, right? So the Celtics need this win more than ever as they're trying to stay in the playoff hunt, and the Timberwolves are trying to tank. So I don't think this is one of those games where we say, "Oh, surprise! The Timberwolves are playing well." It's one of those kind of off to the side games for the Wolves. So I don't expect a high momentum, high emotional factor for them, and I expect the Celtics to take care of business in this game. So double-digit win for the Celtics.
Yeah, that is a little line in my opinion. Minnesota Timberwolves are. I've said dumpster fire, I think probably 15 times already today. But I mean, they're the epitome of
picking against teams that are literal dumpster fires.
Yeah,
them and Buffalo Sabres, horrible, horrible teams, and that 8.5 is low. And like you said, yeah, I like it. They could definitely win by double digits for sure. So, all right, let's go over to Andrew for his 4th pick. What are you running with?
Yeah, you betcha. Let's stick in the UFC fight night. We've got Sadiq Youssef taking on Arnold Allen. This is an intriguing matchup. Sadiq Youssef hasn't lost in the UFC. He's 5-0. Arnold Allen making his return back to the octagon after some time away. Both of these guys spent some time away. The last time Sadiq fought was UFC 246 against Andre Fili, so it's been quite some time. He was so good in that fight. This kid's one of the best prospects that the UFC has, 27 years old, an absolute unit, has won 5 knockouts. So if you're going to put some money on this, probably go with the knockout. I mean, it's probably not going to be a ton of payout, but nonetheless, I think Sadiq is and right at that 145 range, like we say, right there. So I saw that today. And I was like, yeah, I got to lock that in immediately.
I did verify it. I did take a look at the line, and it was minus 145. So you are good there. But like we said, it could change tomorrow. So hammer it now. And you think there possibly could be a knockout from Youssef? Like, what round do you think? Are we thinking 1, 2?
Well, typically in his fights, they're either TKOs, or knockouts, I guess. But it's been usually the second round. So if you're wanting some money here, see what the lines are at in the second round. I'd be even tempted to jump on the first to see what it's like, because you might get some money here.
You still might get some pretty decent money. Whoa, cat. That's enough out of you. You still could see some pretty
Special
decent
guest appearance, Carl Anthony
some
Cat
decent
Towns. This might be the greatest segment of all time, by the way. The cat disturbing the show.
This
is
first
amazing.
segment brought to you by
The cat.
PetSmart, where you can get all your pet needs
All right.
right into your door.
All right, we're gonna go to the Paul. What's your going with for your last 3-4?
We should say that
Oh,
cats interrupt
I'm
most
gonna-
sporting events. So
I'm going to catch the Boston Bruins minus 115 against the Flyers on Saturday. I don't know why this line's so low. Like I said,
It's
they've
low,
been
man.
rope-a-doping. I mean, they've been rope-a-doping. Like, I mean, tonight the Penguins were underdogs against the Rangers. Like, I think Vegas sees that, you know, these teams are just better, and they're trying to head fake some people into not taking them. I'm going to stick with the Bruins. The Bruins are the better team. The Flyers have I don't know really what's going on with Carter Hart. I thought he would be up there for, you know, maybe even an MVP to lead them this year. And he's just falling apart. I
You
mean,
wanna know what happened?
I mean,
do you want to know what happened?
let's hear
Tell
it.
us. I thought he was going to win a Vezina Trophy.
That
Yeah.
defense has absolutely imploded in front of him.
You're right.
Shane Gostisbehere was supposed to be a phenomenal talent. He was put on waivers 2 weeks ago, and no one in the league wanted to pick up his ass.
Yeah.
And I will say this, as a guy who had Alain Vigneault as their head coach in Vancouver for a very long time, who was very quick to criticize goaltending, he railroaded Carter Hart by saying, oh, he's not good enough. He's not playing well enough. We don't think he's in shape right now. And I'm like, how can you say that? Just put him aside and be like, hey, man, not your best game. But when I go to the media, I'll be like, hey, he's just working on some things. You railroaded your 21-year-old goaltender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible decision by the coaching staff. I just don't understand that.
Terrible.
Yeah, not sure how he kind of still has a job. I mean, whatever. We can talk about that later. But Bruins, obviously one of the greater teams in the NHL against Flyers, who have been, like you said, very underwhelming this year. But yeah, Carter Hart's not sure what's going on. Obviously, the D imploded. Gostisbehere has been gone. Ivan Provorov also, I mean, having maybe a little bit better of a year than he was last, and last year was really bad. So, I mean, it hasn't really improved all that much. But yeah, I mean, Boston, pretty tough team to bet against right now. I would like to see the stats, what they are for money line as well as spreads. But all right,
Well,
so
I worry about them because if they don't get the scoring out of that top line, they don't get scoring. So that's the part. That's the part when you're betting Boston is if it's not Marchand, Pasternak, or Bergeron, they're not scoring.
No, that's it. They don't have a second. They don't have a second line that scores.
So that's where it's tough to, you know, lay big money on them. But at 115 and it gets a team that's struggling, I think they get these 2 points.
I agree with you there. All right, let's go to the last round here. Source, Joel, what are you running with for your last pick?
Well, we've already kind of touched on this game, so I won't get too deep into it. I'm going to take the over in the Cincinnati Revs and Arizona Diamondbacks game tomorrow. Paul mentioned it already. The Cincinnati Reds are raking. They've put together an offense last season that everyone thought would be number one or number two in Major League Baseball, and it just never really – the pieces never really came together to be a force. This season, they are a force. In major leagues, they've already started to show it. Granted, they were facing the Pirates, who I think are the worst team in Major League Baseball. So those numbers are going to come down a little bit. But Arizona, like Paul said, is not much better. Their pitching is horrendous. They know they're going nowhere in the National League West. with the Dodgers and Padres up above them, and then also the Giants, who I think are also better than them by a country mile. So they're going to look to try to, just survive this season, and they're looking for draft picks next season or prospects that they can get for players. They're going to start selling fast. So I think the Reds will get things done here and score 6 runs, 7 runs in the first 6 innings. And I expect the Diamondbacks to scrape across 1 or 2 because the Reds pitching staff is nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I was just going to say you could probably see Cincinnati score 8 or 9 runs themselves this game. I don't like who.
And I didn't see a team total, Josh. But if the team total comes out to be where I think it'll be, probably 5.5.
Yeah,
I would hammer the over that as well as a bonus pick. I saw a lot of 4.5 this week with a lot of juice. 4.5 minus 160, 4.5. If you can get it at 5, 5.5, I think you'll see probably even odds, maybe plus 120 if it's 5.5. I would hammer that for this game. I think the Reds are going to put up 7, 8 runs.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. All right, let's move over to Ernest for his last pick. What are you running with, Ernest?
Is it WWE? Please be WWE.
Guess who's back? Back again. Redemption Rockets back.
Oh my God.
That is right. That is right. The Redemption Rockets are back. First off, before you say, "Oh, this is a homer pick," just hold on, okay. Number one, they played against the Phoenix Suns 2 games ago. Played fantastic, almost beat them. They beat the Dallas Mavericks, and now they're going to take on the Clippers on a back-to-back. They will cover 13.5 points. They will cover 13.5 points. And I will bet anybody and everybody they will cover 13.5 points. Matter of fact, they may have the lead going into the fourth quarter, but they're going to lose this game.
All right, well, Josh, do you have a cold take siren over there? I feel like we need a cold.
I'll tell you this, for the shit talking going on, when I go 5-0 this week, I want Joe to personally give me an apology on live every show for Blue Collar Media.
I will. I will go live on Twitter, and I will say, you got to follow Ernest. Stop following me. Follow Ernest Silva for picks on the NBA. I will do that.
That's the damn truth right there. Take the Rockets plus 13.5. That's an easy book.
So Kenny thinking you're going to be taking a big fat L, but I guess we'll see. This game
Kenny's
is
the biggest Rocket hater.
Well, this game is for tomorrow, correct? This game is for tomorrow, Ernest?
Yep, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Clippers are playing tonight. So, yeah, I could definitely see a game where they maybe sit Kawhi, little rest management or whatever, or, little oblique injury, little tightness, hold him out. I can definitely see that happening for sure. It's happened before, and it will happen again. The 13.5. I don't hate it. I honestly, I want to figure out a point where I could, go against Ernest. But the 13.5 against a team that's playing tonight, and I would assume either Kawhi or Paul George will be sitting out tomorrow, and that could just make it even closer. What do you got, Ernest?
And who are the Clippers playing against?
They're playing the Suns tonight, are they not?
Yeah.
That's right. So they're going full out tonight to show how good they are against a playoff team.
That's a very good point.
The Suns are on a back-to-back.
I got the Clippers covering tonight. I got the Clippers covering tonight, but I still think it's going to be a game. Chris Paul plays for the regular season, so take for what you want.
I honestly, I don't hate it. I don't hate the pick. I don't hate it at all. All right, let's go over to Andrew for his last pick. What are you running with, Andrew?
Well, not 13.5 for the fucking Houston Rockets, I'll tell you that much. But we are the UFC fight night again. I'm going with Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez. And if you don't know who Mike Perry is, he is the most interesting character in the world when it comes to the UFC. If you think Conor McGregor's nuts, this guy will outdo him by a million. Just watch some of his press conferences, some of his stuff. But he's actually looking to make up the weight. He's fighting at 155. He's done making the weight cut. He's been very animated on Twitter about it. He just wants to knock this guy out. He just had a press conference yesterday. He's like, once I'm done knocking this fool out, I'm coming for Darren Till. And that's a hell of a fight if it happens at 170 or 185, whatever it is. He's like, I'm eating cheeseburgers. I can't wait. Like, that's a guy who's motivated. So I think Mike Perry at 130 is an underdog, which is crazy to me against Daniel Rodriguez. Again, I see these pluses. I've been watching this sport a long damn time. Unless they know something that I do not know, I'd be blown away if Mike Perry loses this fight.
Yeah, and plus money too. What weight division did you say this was?
So this is at 155. Now, again, Mike Perry knows that he's not going anywhere at 155. This division is the guys like Habib, was Habib, Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler, just guys like that, killers at 155, right? So Mike Perry's going to go into this fight. He's going to swing away. He's already said I just watched his press conference, and he said that, I want to knock this guy out, and then I'm going to go eat about 38 cheeseburgers, gain a bunch of weight, and go fight Darren Till, which I'm about. That was one of the funniest quotes I've ever.
Sign me up.
Yeah, if you get the chance to watch that little quote, it's about a minute and a half. Please go watch it because it's fucking ultra hilarious. But nonetheless, Mike Perry is a knockout artist. He is a savage and always brings a war. So expect that happening. Mike Perry, 130, hit it immediately.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Should be a fun fight to watch. I like it. I like the plus money. I always like plus money when you get a UFC fight. Makes it way more fun to watch. But yeah, I like it. Let's move over to Paul for his last pick. Paul, what are you running with?
All right, so we had
Make it a good one.
Washington beating Buffalo in regulation. Then we had Boston beating Philadelphia. So now I'm going to go with the Flyers to beat the Sabres on Sunday in regulation on the back-to-back. And again, I'm just in full-on fade the Sabres mode. So even though the Flyers are not very good right now and they are on a back-to-back, I don't care. The Sabres are terrible. So, and I'm getting at 115, so I'm in on the Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, it is a back-to-back, but I mean, fuck, that 115, I'm sure you got that line. That's unbelievable. Yeah, fade the Sabres. They're horrible. I can't believe when I looked at that line that it was minus 115 in regulation. It has to be because of the back-to-back for Philly because they are playing Saturday night against Boston.
Yeah.
So
they're playing against a goaltender, a rookie goaltender in Boston too, right? I mean, Halak is out, Rask is out, so
yeah, COVID.
They're gonna be playing against a backup goalie. They could very easily be up 3-0 and maybe not have tired legs against Buffalo. I like that pick.
I mean, Buffalo. What's going? Man, you know how hard it would be to be a fucking Buffalo Sabres fan right now.
I don't know any. Do you?
Oh, I know one. I know one, and he's a good buddy of mine. And he's like, I won't turn the TV on. So, yeah.
But hey, look, you guys live in Canada, so you guys have a whole different experience than Ernest and I do as far as hockey goes. Down here, it's not religion,
It's religion.
So I don't know really what that feels like.
Truth. Yeah, you say that, and I think of thank God that the Sabres this wasn't happening to a Canadian team because we would be talking about it every single day. It would be the absolute worst. I already hate Canadian sports media to begin with. So I'm kind of glad they are down south just a little bit. So we aren't talking about it all the time. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad to see. I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for, a few of the players that have been drafted by them who have put in all this work for them.
Oh, yeah.
And just, ownership as well as managing has just directed this team in a very, very, very bad direction. And
if you would have told me at the start of the year that a power play potential lineup of Jeff Skinner, Jack Eichel, Taylor Hall, Rasmus Dahlin, and whoever the hell else they want to put on there would be the worst, and they'd have 5 goals combined, I'd call you a fraud. I'd call you a fraud because I saw that. We talked about this on Paul's podcast. I said Buffalo going into the season has a pretty decent power play team. They weren't going to be great. They were in a rebuild, but you should get more than 5 goals out of 3 players. Jeff Skinner's on a $9 million deal.
Well, so they mismanage a lot of their players, right? I mean, the fact that Eichel right now is out with an injury instead of playing for another team is unforgivable. The fact they held on to him that long while they were trying to negotiate a better package is unforgivable. If you're in rebuild mode, you got to be in rebuild mode, and they knew they were this bad by halfway through the first half of the season.
Well, the thing with him was he actually was injured in preseason, and I don't know what all went down, but I don't know if maybe the team told him to keep going, keep playing, or he wanted to keep playing. I don't know. But anyway, he had this injury in preseason, obviously nagged on him into the regular season. Now he is out. He's injured. His value is still there for trading, but I totally agree with you, Joel. They should have got rid of him maybe a little earlier on.
I think, 2 days before he got hurt, they were talking about, the Bruins were interested, the New York Rangers were interested, and they they played him one too many games. If you're trying to trade a guy, you sit him down. That happens in every sport in the United States and Canada, across the world. If you're trying to trade a guy fast, he sits on the bench.
Super hot take here with Eichel being injured. I don't think he ever puts on another Buffalo Sabres jersey.
No,
I don't think that's a hot take.
I don't think that's a hot take.
It's done. I think it's done.
Yeah,
done.
No, it's unfortunate, and hopefully we see greener pastures for Buffalo and Jack Eichel. Some of you guys don't like. You guys don't like Taylor Hall, but I like to see greener pastures for him. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the show now. I'm just going to run down quick a confirmation of each picks and then just do your quick sign-off. So, Job, you're running with the Yankees money line against Tampa Bay. Washington Nationals money line plus 225 against the Dodgers. Cleveland Indians run line minus 1.5 against Detroit at plus 114, Atlanta Braves money line minus 125 against Philly. Cincinnati and Arizona over 9 runs. That is at minus 110. Is that all correct? And where can they find you?
Those are all correct. You can find me at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter, also on Facebook, and at sourcepodcast.com, where we have 7 new writers starting this week. So we're excited to get that off the ground really fast. My next episode will be live from Vegas, from the Circa Las Vegas Casino. And we'll be joined by the head of the casino there, Derek Stevens, who's the head of their sportsbook operation, if we're lucky. And if not, we'll be joined by some of those other guys that you might otherwise find on Showtime, Action Network, etc.
If you do end up seeing Paulie Howard or Mitch Moss, tell them what's up from Josh. Always looking for a guest for Just a Bit Outside. So if they want to come on, let me know.
I actually do. I do know Paulie Howard and my uncle are friends, so I will pass along the message if I do run into him.
I'm a big fan of follow the money. So let's go over to Ernest. Ernest, you're running with a little soccer action for you. Bayern Munich minus 1.5 at minus 110 against FC Berlin. Houston Astros run line plus 118 against Oakland. The Ducks quack plus or reverse puck line plus 1.5 goals at plus 110 against Colorado. And then Celtics minus 8.5 against Minnesota, minus 110. And then Houston, the Rockets, Redemption Rockets, plus 13.5 against the Clippers. Is that all correct? Where can they find you?
It all sounds like an easy 5-0 week for me. Sorry about that, Joe. But you can find me at Into the Lab Pod is where you can find our show Wednesday nights live, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And you can find my personal account at The Sport Gene. We brought it back, people. At The Sport Gene is back. That's where you can find my personal account. Lots of great content. Wouldn't be talking if the Redemption Rockets weren't healthy. So that is a really valid pick. I wasn't trying to be a homer there.
All right, let's go over to Andrew now. Andrew, you're running with Kennedy minus 135 against, I'm going to screw up these names, Borix.
Yep.
A pending pick, cannot confirm. WWE Edge in the triple threat matchup. We will get a confirmation on that a little bit later on, but that is one of your picks. Darren plus 115 against Astronaut. Youssef plus or minus 145 against Allen, and then Perry plus 130 against Rodriguez. Is that all correct? And where can they find you?
I don't even know how you can make this a questionable pick. It's the WWE. It's scripted. And honestly, it's Edge, who hasn't been in a ring for 10 years. Come on.
This way, a winner's already
if you don't think he's going to win it. How do you not think he's going to win this? That's my honest question for any of you.
Our question is, how the hell can you bet on WWE if it's scripted?
Because there's betting
odds.
There's betting odds. If I was,
I know there is. I'm just saying I have to verify it. I mean, if this was week 1, I would have let it fly. I would have let it go. But I mean, we're in a matchup here where every game matters, every value matters, and I'm just saying I don't know if I can accept it. I will go to my co-commissioner and see, but we will see. Is that all correct? Where can they find you?
Holy hell, Batman. It's all confirmed. Yeah. At Andrew Con is where you can find me on Twitter. You can find us at the Boomtown Pod on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram at the.boom.townpod. Also, if last week we got to talk to a really great MMA analyst, James Lynch. If you missed the podcast, please go and listen to it. This guy has talked to every single major competitor in this world. So he actually just finished off an interview with Misha Tate before anybody else in the world did. Now it's her comeback, the former bantamweight champion. So shout out to James. Thank you for coming on to the show. And we're working with some fight guys coming up here. Enjoy the fights this weekend.
Some fight guys. I like that.
Some fighters, baby.
Before we get to Paul here, Paul, what do you think of this?
Yeah, you know what I think of that. That's just another fucking. It's another delusion from fucking fantasy land with this fucking.
All right, Paul, you're running with Cincinnati money line against Arizona MLB action for you. The Islanders money line -130 against the Rangers. Washington Capitals in regulation -140 against Buffalo. Boston money line -115 against Philly, and then Philly on Sunday in regulation against Buffalo. That's the first time we've had two picks against one team in the same week. So is that all correct?
Yeah, you can just find me at Steel Curtain PEH on Twitter. Check out all these guys' stuff. They work really hard at it. They're growing it each and every day. You can check them out, bluecollarmg.com. You can also check out all their their stuff. Andrew the Boomtown. Josh releases his picks every day. He's been on fire with the first inning picks. Ernest with the ITL every Wednesday releases on Friday. And always check out Job's Daily Cards on the Source. So these guys are out there doing it every single day for you guys. You can check our daily picks as well. Everybody's pretty much over 500 in that for the last 2 months. So I'm trying to give you guys winners every day.
And
I love that Paul uses his sign off to thank all of us. I love that.
I was gonna say, give yourself a little credit there, Paul. Make sure to follow him, Steel Curtain PEH. Always getting into some stuff. Always on ITL. Oh, not always, but he is on ITL with Ernest. And thanks again, guys, for coming on. This has been great. The player pick this week is Houston moneyline -140. Like I said, I'm throwing two. I might even.
I'm gonna throw 3 units on that. I'm doing it right now.
I'm in.
4 units.
I love that pick. And make sure, like I said, go follow Player Athletics on Twitter and go check out their website, www.playergolf.com. They got some amazing stuff, some amazing hats, shirts, sweaters, anything really. Golf, they got some golf accessories. They're an amazing company. Make sure to go check them out. Well, thanks a lot, guys. This is the end of the show, and it's simple. Win, and you are in. Good luck to you, gentlemen.